Dr. VTech Show. This podcast is a long-form conversation hosted by Dr. VTech with the top guests in the world of esports. All from owners, pros, semi-pros, former pros, and content creators of many games. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Dr. VTech Show. Today, we got a special guest. Today, we have a Counter-Strike Pro League player for Wildcard. This guy is brutal. He is good. He's one of the most feared Counter-Strike players there is. He is phenomenal, guys. Let me tell you. His name is Keller Nilan, a.k.a. Slight, an American professional Counter-Strike player for Wildcard, and yes, they have won first place many times. As I'm looking over here, they won 6 out of 10. They also won last year's Thunder World Championship 23, and they beat M80. Wow, they always face M80. I don't know.
Always face M80.
M80, yeah. So Slate, welcome. How you doing, man?
Good. Happy to be here. It's good to do another podcast. I haven't done one of these in a hot minute, so.
Oh, really? Okay. That's
very excited.
Awesome. So, Slate, I don't know too much about Counter-Strike. I'm getting to learn more about it since I got with Wildcard, and so I have to learn all different types of game that Wildcard is involved in. So, Wildcard is this game's been out for a while. It's been
very
out
long time.
For a very long time. Now, what's the differences between CS:GO versus CS2?
Well, CS2 is a completely different game engine. It's a whole new source, and so there's a lot of different things with how the game feels, how the game runs, and so far it's not the best. Obviously, some people spent a lot of complaints, which I understand. It definitely took me a minute to get used to Counter-Strike 2, but I've kind of adjusted, and so when you're a pro at this level, you have to adjust and be able to play under any conditions, no matter how good or bad or fine the game is. But yeah, it's with Counter-Strike 2 compared to Counter-Strike Global Offensive, there's just a lot of different things about the game. Like, one of the biggest ones is being able to grenade open a smoke or shoot through the smoke, and the way smoke grenades land and bloom. So it's a lot. It was a lot at first to get used to and transition to after playing Counter-Strike or CS:GO for however many years. I played it for probably 6. And to go to a completely new game, it's definitely not easy. You have just so many reps and so much muscle memory, and so it definitely took me a minute to get used to, but I feel like I'm adjusting now, and the game unfortunately hasn't gotten much better, but it's better. I've heard it's a lot better on LAN than it is online, and yeah, I mean, that's it.
Wow. So it's basically it's much better on LAN. Now, I saw they did graphics. They improved the graphics. They changed the graphics and all this stuff. That's from CS:GO version?
Right. So all the maps, they changed the graphics. They all look different. Some of them, there's different little things, like new angles or just new things that you can do. And then on top of it being Counter-Strike 2 with the new nades and the new smokes, yeah, it definitely creates a whole different kind of meta that you had to adjust to.
Oh wow. I would expect that they would have kept basically everything the same, and they just Just improve the graphics. Now with CS:GO, do you guys had any issues with it? Was it running perfectly? Was it just doing good?
It was running, yeah, I would say perfectly. So to go from playing like a very quote unquote perfect game to then just kind of jumping into CS2 when it was kind of released prematurely, in my
Hmm.
opinion, it was definitely tough, and it was definitely tough on like a lot of people. Like you saw some of the biggest names in the game, like Simple and other guys like that, like tweeting about it and sharing their complaints. There was one Simple clip that was like one of my favorites. Counter Strike like DM Simple and told and like asked him what kind of problems the game was having. Um, and his response was really funny. He was saying like, "What issues?" Like the whole community talking about issues. Like there's nothing but issues with this game. And so yeah, there's a lot of people that were very frustrated at the start of Counter Strike 2 just because of how just not perfect the game was, and going from a more refined, just like I said, almost perfect game like Counter Strike or like CS:GO, and then going to CS2, which is just like
Like a
just
big
full of bugs, just buggy stuff happening. Like even now, there's still a good amount of bugs in the game, and
Jeez. And I can
yeah,
imagine you guys competing under those bugs.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
gotta
No,
be brutal.
on the old wildcard roster, we kind of we had like a little bit of advantage, I guess, because we went to Europe like very early on when Counter Strike 2 was released. Like I think we played like one of the first like big tournaments for CS2, like the Thunderpick World Championship. So yeah, we were in Europe just scrimming European teams, and it definitely helped us get more adjusted to it, but at the same time, like there was just a lot of underlying issues with the game, and it became just more and more noticeable, and those things are definitely frustrating, like when just like stuff you can't control is kind of affecting like your game and how you do in like specific rounds, or you like dying behind a wall, or just like stupid stuff like that. And yeah, it can get a little frustrating.
Oh, I bet. I bet. Now, how long you been with the team? How long you been with the wild card?
I've been with Wildcards since either March or April, I believe, is when we got signed, and yeah, I've been with them ever since. It's gonna be a year in about a month or two,
Okay, so you've been with them for over a year now.
almost a year.
Almost. Okay, so we're in 20. You started in 22.
It was 23 when we got signed.
Okay, when you got okay, so you did win Thunder Pick, and you also won the ESEA preseason circuit 23
Yep.
North American Finals first place. Dang, you guys doing good.
Yeah, we had a little bit of a hot streak where for a couple months like we were pretty unstoppable and no one could really figure out an answer to us. We were playing really well, and then it was kind of like a right after that, like after we kind of peaked in North America, quote unquote, like we're kind of on the rise, on the come up, is where they just dropped this whole new game, and yeah, it was a
Oh,
little tough at first, for sure.
dang. It's unfortunate that sometimes the prize pool, you guys, is not as big as expected. According to a Wikipedia, I don't know how accurate that is. And I'm like, okay, wait, how much these guys are making for winning first place? I wish it was a lot. According to what I'm seeing, I hope it's a lot more than that. Because you guys got to put on a lot of work. And how many times you scrim basically a day? You guys a week?
At home, we normally go from around 2 or 3 to 10. With we're probably playing like as many scrims as we can get that are like good, obviously, because the quality of practice inside North America isn't too great. There's not a there's not a lot of teams to scrim at the top level. It has gotten better, and it is getting better with new teams like NRG and M80. But yeah, the practice quality is definitely tough when you're in North America. So some days you can't like get as many scrims as you want because like they're just not that good, and it's just it's not going to be an optimal use of your time to scrim someone who's just or some of these teams that are just not very good.
Yeah. Now, is Counter Strike more like popular in Europe versus it is in the US?
For sure, the Counter Strike culture in Europe is completely different than it is in North America. Like you see some of these really small countries like Denmark or like Sweden or like these countries produce like so much talent with like compared to the population there, like the amount of talent that some of these countries produce is just it's insane. And it's just because of the culture. The culture is a lot different. Like you see they have like esport classes and stuff in like their schools, and I think like European parents are just like more accepting of it and stuff. I feel like that's more of a problem in North America where some people's parents are just like not happy with their kids playing Counter Strike all day. But in Europe they see it as like, their kid could turn into something big on the game. And um yeah, it's just a completely different culture out there for sure.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy that some parents see the potential and see that you can make a career out of it, and some don't. Some
Right.
are already like, oh, you got to go to college, you got to go do this, you're just playing all day until you show them a paycheck. Listen, this is what I made off of Twitch or
Yeah.
whatever. um, and then this is a paycheck I got from the organization I'm with. Some parents would be like, oh, I'm just saying that you should play a little bit more. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Keep
Yeah,
on going.
exactly.
Don't worry about it, son. Just stay there. How much you're gonna pay for? You pay them something, they'll be happy. So it's like
Right.
they're just super happy about it. Did your parents cause a little bit of havoc with you when you're dedicated?
Oh yeah. No, for sure. When I was younger, my parents hated it. Like, because I was super athletic when I was younger, and so like me going from just like being super athletic to wanting to play a video game all day was like they hated it. They didn't encourage it at all. But once my career started like taking off a little bit, and I started getting some sort of money from it, then they started were like, hey, like okay, like he might be doing something here. So
That's
now they fully support it, and they
oh,
always watch my games, and I'm very thankful for that.
good for you, good for them too. you know, now they see like, whoa, I didn't know he was that good. Now he's there's a pro league about. Some don't even understand the concept of esports. They don't understand the pro league. They don't understand how much money there is involved, how much you can make, how much you can make off streaming, how
Right.
much you can make. They just don't know because they weren't brought up on that in the generation that all this is, you know, where you could get sponsored, all this stuff. They don't know that. A lot of parents, all they know is Nintendo, Mario, probably Atari, just playing video games at home
Yeah.
that they just don't know. They're not up to date on all the new stuff that's out there. And now that esports is out, this is a totally division. You're just sign up like you do for any type of regular sport. You go to basketball or football, you got to go to college to get in. Now with esports is a little bit different. You got to get recruited, you got to be good, you got to go through certain steps to get into the pro leagues. Now, to get into a pro league with on Counter Strike, is there like a different type of tier before you get in? It's like, see, I'm so used to Rainbow. So Rainbow Six Siege has the Challenger League, and
Right.
then you're up there in Challenger League. You're gonna get recruited somehow if you're that good. You're gonna get picked. How is it in Counter Strike?
Counter Strike is like it's like league based. sort of say. Like you have your kind of tiers of like leagues that you play in, and it starts at open, which is like bottom of the barrel, like anyone can sign up, like that anyone that can pay the money and has the video game can play open, you know? And then
Mhm.
from there it goes open, then intermediate, then main, then advanced, and then ECL, which is like kind of like that contender league, I guess. Like ECL, which is like Challenger League, is right under Pro League, and then from Challenger League, like the top one or two teams make it to Pro League, and that's
When
how that works.
when you say team, they just pick up the whole entire team, or they could pick you up individually.
It's not well, there are partner teams in Pro League, so like I guess you could get recruited by like a Pro League level partner team and then just immediately be in Pro League. But if you're not partnered, then you have to qualify through Challenger League. And for North America, in Europe, there's a lot of different ways where you can qualify to Pro League, but North America in particular is mainly just the Challenger League.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. That's interesting. Now, when you first started, which team you started with? What was the name of the team, the Challenger team?
Oh, in Challenger, the team I
Yeah.
was on, um, my first team that I made it to Challenger with was on an old organization named Strife, and that was probably, I think I was either like 17 or 18. I think I was 18
Mm.
when I played my first season of Challenger League, and at the start of that with that team, we weren't that good, but it definitely took like a few seasons for us to kind of like steadily improve and like start um, really competing with some of the teams in there. And there was definitely like a huge skill gap when I started.
Okay, so yeah, there's skill gaps, stuff like that. You guys had to make your own roster changes and stuff like that to to keep on leveling up, or
Yeah,
yeah.
no, I'm on that team in particular. We went through a good amount of roster changes to before we finally started winning and started competing in North America. Which yeah, it's is needed sometimes. I'm not like the biggest fan of roster changes myself. Like I believe like any problem can be worked through. It's just if everyone is like diligent enough to get to the bottom of the problem and like really work on like figuring it out like within any team. But like obviously sometimes like things are different. Things like there's just different circumstances, like whether it's from the organization's perspective or from like a team's perspective, or if like a couple players are having problems with one other guy, like then that's where you start like looking at roster changes, I guess.
Yeah, chemistry is a very, very big factor. If there's a spoiled apple in the bunch, that has to be taken care of immediately, because the spoiled apple could ruin the game, could ruin anything. You guys are trying to win and trying to win a tournament or per se, or and then if there's a spoiled apple, a
Yeah,
couple of your players are not going to be on their A game. They're just ticked off at that other person. The vibes is not there. The energy is not there. So that is something that has to be addressed and quickly. It's very rare that you get a spoiled apple in a bunch and you guys be successful.
yeah,
Now, the only spoiled apple I know that did really good and just made the team one was and this is not on esports. So this was in the NBA, was Dennis Rodman. I don't know if you know anything about that
yeah.
guy.
I know who he is.
Dennis Rodman was the spoiled apple of the bunch, but man, they Michael Jordan was probably like the only person that knew how to kind of control him, but
Yeah,
yeah, and he brought so many rebounds and they won 6 championships basically back to back.
Yeah.
The same, I don't know. He wasn't there like in the first few uh years when Jordan was in, but that's the only spoiled apple that I know that they just tolerate it and then you win. But when it comes to esports, it's a little bit different. Now, sometimes you can have a spoiled apple, somebody that's, like spoiled, but if he's so freaking good,
Yeah.
you gotta like suck it in, suck it up. It's like, dang, I freaking can't tolerate this guy, but my gosh, like he's the top three player in the world. So what can we do?
Yeah.
That's gotta suck.
Yeah.
That's
No,
gotta suck.
I've definitely had a couple of those teammates, and it's tough because like they are super super good, but it just gets to a point where you can't really like just be okay with it anymore and just like deal with it. Like you just get to a point where you just get to someone's breaking point, where they're just
Yeah.
like, I can't do it anymore. Like, so yeah.
Yeah, it's like I can't take you no more. See you. You know what I kind of noticed that people like that they're very arrogant, cocky. They don't respect their peers. Is that they be humble with those that are better than them.
hmm
Then you see them like, oh yeah, man, of course. Their attitude changes because they're playing with somebody that's even better or have won more majors or etc. And everything kind of like completely changes. So that kind of sucks when you have a spoiled apple. But yeah, roster changes. It is it. I know it hurts because you build a bond with your players. You build a bond with them, and you become really close friends.
Yeah.
Now, how was it when you got picked up by Wildcard? When was this, and how was it? You just got an email, or they came to you? How did that happen?
Basically, me and the four other guys that got originally signed to Wildcard, we were all on another team under like a smaller organization, like the organization's called Detonate. And when we were with Detonate, we were kind of like an upcoming team. Um, we had qualified to the Americas RMR, which is in Mexico, which was like kind of not a big upset, but we were definitely like one of the teams that people wouldn't have expected to make it to that tournament. And so when we made it to that tournament, we kind of like people started paying more attention to us, I would say. And then that's when Wildcard kind of looked at us because they were looking to get into North American Counter Strike. Um, and yeah, they they hit us up and we are like, absolutely.
Heck yeah, let's do this.
Yeah.
Man, congratulations. That's gotta be an awesome moment.
Yeah. No, it
Yeah.
was for sure.
Yeah, same thing went with me. It was kind of weird. And I was on their Discord, and then Ben reached out to me, DM me. He's like, "Hey, meet up with this guy, see what we could do, where we could put you. Would you like if you would like to join us?" I was like, yeah." That was pretty cool.
No.
It was surprising. I was kind of in shock. I was like, "Okay, awesome. That's pretty cool." So
Yeah,
now,
Wildcard is definitely one of the like the it's probably the best organization I've been under in terms of just like their status and then the owners as well. Ben and Griff, they're
yeah,
really awesome, really like great to talk to. Like they generally do care about like their players and I've had like hour-long conversations with them like multiple times just talking about whatever or talking to them about the team. Like they're really interested and they're really involved in what they do and it's really awesome to see.
oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I talked to a lot with Dispa. Sometimes I DM message a lot with Ben. Griff is very busy guy, so it's kind of hard to get
Yeah.
to hold of. But yeah, they're all really nice and very humble folks. I'm proud to and happy to be part of the wild card as well. Um, so what state you live in? Where you located at? What state?
I'm in Georgia, in a
Oh,
city called Alpharetta.
okay. I'm in Florida, so we're we're nearby.
Yeah, yeah.
Is it,
Depends where you're at in Florida, because sometimes it's like a 10-hour drive to some parts of Florida, which is, yeah, I can't do that.
yeah, I'm pretty far down south. I'm between Orlando and Miami, so
Oh,
I'm
gotcha. Yeah,
pretty
you're
far.
pretty down there.
Yeah, so it's not that cold, but when it gets cold, it gets cold because of cold fronts, but it just lasts for certain amount of hours, and then in the afternoon when the sun comes out, then it gets warm. It gets pretty cold. So wow, man, that's kind of crazy. So hopefully now with this, I mean, I am sure that CS:GO is gonna have to fix some bugs out there because that's really annoying that you got a game that was working so good and then all of a sudden things are not working like the way they used to. And it's like,
Yeah.
Mike, the only thing you did is just change the graphics. You just improved this, and how can now all this be happening? Are they listening to the fans? Are they doing things about it?
They definitely are, to an extent. I mean, there's been like thousands of like people, whether they're pro or not, just voicing their complaints. And I mean, they listen to some. Like I remember, for instance, there's one professional. His name's Floppy, and he plays for Complexity, and he made a tweet about just like a couple problems with the game, and then like the next day or like a couple days after they fixed it or improved whatever he said. I forget what he said or what the issue was, but they can be like very responsive like that, but at the same time there's like still a few like big problems with the game that they still kind of really haven't addressed, which is tough. So it's like kind of a weird mixture of the two, because like they are trying to make the game better, but at the same time they're just like not doing their best, because there's still, like I said, major underlying issues with the game that are just not like suitable for like an esport like that.
Yeah. How's the issue with cheating?
Cheating is like, for me, I don't really deal with it because like I never play matchmaking, for instance, but like for kind of like people who are Counter-Strike fans and have just been playing Counter-Strike for a while, who just like the people who would play matchmaking, it's like a huge problem. Like there's insane amount of cheaters. And even in some of the games I play, like some of these people again I play against, I think are cheating because like I don't know. I feel like there's been a definitely an influx of cheaters ever since this game came out, and I don't know if it's a problem with the anti-cheat or what have you, whatever. But like there definitely is a huge problem with cheaters right now, especially in matchmaking. There's like it's crazy the clips you see. There's just people like spin botting and shooting people through walls. Like it's ridiculous. And
Oh god.
that that's obviously like not one of that's not a problem for like the professional scene at
Mhm.
all, because like there's not really, they have more advanced anti cheats for like games that are played to like off client or whatever, like or on Faceit or on any of these like these hosts or these websites. But yeah, matchmaking's horrible. And even I played matchmaking a handful of times, and a couple of times I got against a cheater. So yeah, it's not fun.
Dang. That's gotta suck. It now do you stream by any chance?
I actually I'm about to start kind of getting the stream going again. My main reason in the past was just my computer couldn't really handle it.
Okay.
I just didn't have like I didn't have a bad computer, but like if I were to stream and play, it'd just probably just be frustrating, just because my game would feel bad. But
Yeah,
I recently got a massive PC upgrade, so I'm looking to start the stream up soon.
that'd be
Um,
great, man.
yeah.
That'd be super. Yeah, that's good. We get to see you play now. Folks get to see you play and support you and show you some love, and they're on either Twitch or Kick. I don't know which one you're gonna go with, but
Twitch.
Twitch is probably the most likely because I think that's where the more high Counter Strike players are playing at.
Yeah.
When you started off playing Counter Strike, was there a pro player like you always like look up to? Like, man, this guy's like freaking good. I kind of like him the way he plays.
When I was kind of when I was coming up as like when I was like a younger kid, when I was like 14, 15, the guy that I always looked up to was Stewie 2K. He used to play for Cloud9, and that was my favorite team back then when I was younger. And yeah, he was kind of like the star player of that team, and he was just like a super flashy, like super annoying player to play against, and I really liked how he played and his play style and his thought process behind a lot of things. And like that was the guy like I really like for like when I started kind of like watching and observing pros, like that's the guy I watched the most for sure was Stewie 2K.
Dewey 2K. I think I know who he is. Isn't he? He's Asian guy, right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay, I kind of know who he is. I think he was streaming one time, and I enter. I'm like, okay, who is this guy? And they were like in the chat, like, you don't know who he? I said, absolutely not. I don't know who he is. I'm just trying to, see some Counter Strike content. They're like, well, he's like the goat. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, cool. Yeah, I try to get familiarized and get to know about all these who is who within the Counter Strike, you know, field and arena. Trying to get to know who they are. So when's you guys next tournament? When are you guys going to be playing soon?
Um, we have we have a qualifier coming up in I think 2 or 3 days. It's for like a tournament for Blast, but like our next big event that's coming up is like beginning of March. We go to Mexico to play in the major RMR. And what that is there were qualifiers for, well, it's for the major, which is like the biggest tournament of the game, and there are qualifiers for North America and South America, or qualifiers for everywhere in the world. But for our region, basically what it was is there's 8 teams from North America and then 8 teams from South America, all going to Mexico, and then the top it's like the top 5 or 6 teams there make the major in Copenhagen, which is like the like for the biggest tournament of the game. So it's what everyone's like preparing for and looking forward to, you could say.
Oh, Copenhagen, that's the biggest major?
Yeah, that's the biggest tournament. It's the major, and the major happens like either once or twice a year. Um, and yeah, like I said, it's the biggest tournament in the game. There's a lot that goes into it, a lot of viewership, a lot of money, what have you. But yeah, it's everyone's as a Counter Strike player, your goal is to make it to the major.
So
Like that's the tournament everyone wants to go to.
there's only one major?
Um, like once every year, like once or twice a year, there will be a major tournament, and that's
Okay.
the absolute biggest tournament in the game.
Oh, awesome. Who won the last one? Was it FaZe or something like that?
Um, who did?
I don't know.
Actually, I don't know why I was Vitality. It was Vitality.
Vitality won the last biggest major.
Yeah, it was in Paris, and they were a French team, and they won it, which was cool to see.
Wow. So hopefully now this year you guys make it. You get up there and compete. Have
Yeah.
you been in a big stage like that before? I mean, I don't know if you guys went into.
I haven't really played. I've been to like bigger tournaments, but I haven't ever played on like a big stage. Like this will probably be like the biggest stage that I played on, even like in Mexico, so to speak, like at a LAN. I've been to a couple LANs in Europe, but like they just didn't go our way. Didn't make it very far in either of them. So um, yeah, this time in Mexico, I think that we have like a real legitimate chance to make it to Copenhagen, and everyone believes that, and we're all working towards that goal.
Yeah, the last time I saw you guys play, you guys were playing against M80 not too long ago, and then, like you guys were just like going wild. I was like, dang, this team is actually really good. Your name kept on being mentioned all the time by the casters, like Slide went ahead of Cal, he did this, Slide did this, and Slide did that. I was like, dang, Slide is freaking on beast mode. My freaking goodness, man. It's like, jeez. You must have put in a lot of hours to get that accuracy.
Oh yeah, a lot of hours. Not proud of it, but it is what it is.
How many hours you play a day? I mean, you practice, and I mean, because some people do like, okay, I do 4 hours, and I go to work. Some people like don't work and they just dedicate like 10 hours.
hmm
How much hours do you put into it?
On just a regular day, like at home, just practicing, it's I probably it's like we practice for probably 6 or 7 hours, and then on top of that, like probably like another 3 or 4 hours I put in. Not every day, but like it depends on what I'm doing and other stuff. But I normally try to always put in time outside of the game and outside of practice, whether you're playing with your friends or you're just like refreshing like yourself on grenades and lineups, or if you're just like studying other teams and other players and how they're playing and try to incorporate some of that into your own game. Whatever it is, there's always ways that I can keep improving myself as a player, and always, yeah, there's always different things that I can do. Like, you just kind of have to do it, and like have to do some of that dirty work that will help you in the long run.
Yeah. You know what what kind of frustrates me is that Counter Strike is a mouse and keyboard game. I I'm a controller player,
Yeah,
and I do play controller on PC, and I do it on Rainbow. A
yeah,
lot of people think, "Oh, you're not using mouse and keyboard." Well, no, I am. You know, I'm using controller. And when I used to stream a lot, I used to just go ahead and put a camera facing my hands, my PC, and they could see that I'm actually playing with a controller. And they're like, "My God, you're like, you're very good." I'm a average plat player. I've been like that
okay.
since I was on console, and then when I switched over, I just kept on. I'm so used to because that's all I've been playing for years and years and years and years and years. Just always on controller. And now trying to work on mouse and keyboard for me is like I don't have the time nor the hours to put into it, so I could just dedicate it and get better at it. Because that's why I never switched. I did see one kid saw this guy playing a controller on Counter Strike, and he's all over YouTube. You probably may already know him, but he's like freaking good. I was like, whoa.
I think I've seen him, and yeah, I don't know how he's doing some of the things he's doing with a controller, but yeah, Counter Strike is not an ideal game for a controller player, I would say.
Yeah, same
Mm.
same thing goes with Rainbow. Um, it's not. Yeah, I mean, you're going against again a mouse and keyboard. You're gonna die real quick if
Yeah,
you don't know how to take cover and run. And do certain
yeah,
things that you're gonna defend yourself and know how to fight back. You just got with controller. When you're in controller, you're playing against mouse and keyboard player. You gotta have to play like so super safe. And as for what the way I see Counter Strike, you're I don't know how he does it, but he's able to do it, and he worked out a way that it kind of like works for him.
Yeah.
For me, is like it's impossible. Now I have a question. Have you tried Valorant?
I did try it. I played it for probably less than 50 hours I put into that game, and yeah, that game is not for me at all. Not at all. I mean, it's just I don't know. It's just way too much going on there. It's just way too complicated. There's just too many like flashbangs and dogs running at you and like like I don't know. That game is just not for me though at all.
I hear that a lot from Counter-Strike players that um try to make the switch, and for them is like this is way this is not for me, is way too much, and they're so used to Counter-Strike, and then when they go to Valorant, they just don't like it. It's like really weird. Now,
Yeah.
I there's very few that will switch over and they're like, "Okay, yeah, I like it. I'm cool with it." But a big majority, I say like 80% that tried it, they just go back to Counter-Strike. It's
Yeah.
not for them.
No,
It's
a
not.
lot of Counter-Strike players did transition to Valorant at the beginning just because it was a new game and there's a lot of hype around it and there's new opportunities and teams and organizations looking to like invest in the game. But yeah, nowadays it's like from what I've seen from Valorant, like they've just completely screwed everyone that's like not already in the tier one scene. Like it's all about franchising and like all the leagues are just like franchising and there's like one one team that can qualify to like the league and it's just really dumb. And you've
Oh,
seen like a lot of people complain. I've seen a lot of people complain about it and like even with Wildcard, like because they were trying to invest in Valorant and they just like couldn't anymore because of the situation with the game and the league. They just couldn't. Like it just wasn't a worthwhile investment at all. Like because it's like it's a dying game. It's a dying game now. Um, the hype around it is kind of gone, and like I said, they've like Riot, the people who own Valorant, just haven't done a good job with like the leagues and giving people like an opportunity to kind of rise the ranks and be like kind of get to that pro league. Um, so yeah,
man, I was gonna ask about that because that's the only game that I see that tries to compete with Counter Strike.
yeah.
And I was gonna say, how's the competition between Valorant and Counter Strike? I didn't know they were not doing that good. I always wondered why wasn't Wildcard with have a team with Valorant. That makes sense.
Hmm.
That makes total sense.
Yeah, I mean, a lot like I said before, like the game, there was like just an incredible amount of opportunities. There was way more teams, way more salary teams. Like when you compared like in like during kind of like the COVID era, if you would have compared like the amount of Valorant like salary teams there were to like compared to Counter Strike, like it would have been a very lopsided comparison for Valorant. And now it's probably looking more even in terms of like how many teams are salaried like within North America between Counter Strike and Valorant. Um, I've seen a lot of organizations pull out, a lot of teams kind of crash because of just how Valorant is now with like the whole franchising and stuff. And yeah, it's unfortunate to see, but at the same time, I mean, back then, like you could kind of see it coming a little bit. Like you could kind of see it. You could see it start to form, and that you kind of know that that game just isn't gonna like take over Counter Strike as like being like one of those esports.
Yeah, I kind of highly doubt any game out there is gonna take over Counter Strike. I mean, Rainbow Six Siege can't. They're Rainbow's having his struggles with certain things. But they're doing pretty good on the pro scene. Halo is struggling. Um, and Valorant, I didn't know that. Funny you said that because I haven't been hearing too much stuff about Valorant lately, and that kind of like makes sense that it just like declining,
Yeah.
and that's sad, because I know a lot of people wanted to switch, wanted to, and try to switch and try to get really good at the game because they want to go pro. But if it's going downhill, they're just going to keep on losing, players and
Um,
organizations. And it's like they're going to be going to probably going back to Counter Strike.
yeah. No,
Hey,
yeah, for sure. You've already seen a few like ex-professionals that went to Valorant already kind of come back and start kind of playing FPL again and or what have you. But yeah, I mean it is unfortunate to some extent to some of those people because I do have a good amount of people I know that went to Valorant kind of seeking that new opportunity and either only briefly found an opportunity or like an organization or just like straight up didn't. And now their chances are like slim to none because like I said with the whole league, like you're basically like buying it's organizations buying a spot in the league and then aside from all the teams that are just bought into the league, it's like literally one or two teams that qualify every I don't know, like 6 or 7 months or something.
crazy. That's crazy. You know what? I was gonna ask you something because I noticed that the mechanics on Valorant and Counter Strike basically are the same movements, the mechanics, and then I look at other games FPS, like for an example, Call of Duty. They're also a first person shooter, but the mechanics are so totally different.
Right.
Have you tried other games and try to compare mechanics and which ones you like? Eventually, you like Counter Strike more.
Yeah.
You're more used to it. Is it more because it's more keyboard and mouse friendly, or is it
It's
because more accurate? You can shoot more accurate, even though there's recoil on the guns.
I would say it's kind of hard to explain. It's kind of just the feeling of how stuff feels, like how smooth or just like with Valorant compared to Counter Strike. Like the thing or one of the things I didn't really like about Valorant was just like the movement in that game felt like super sluggish and slow. Like you just kind of felt like you were like walking on ice skates when you were moving, and it was just like weird coming from being a Counter Strike player. And so yeah, that like the mechanics in that game in terms of just like aiming and with all of that, like that was very similar, like from like with Counter Strike and Valorant, but like the movement in particular like wasn't great, and I wasn't a fan of. But like a game like Call of Duty, that's kind of that was more like Call of Duty and like Apex Legends for me are like kind of the two that are feel more like Counter Strike and like the gun mechanics and the movement and the aim and all that stuff is definitely like more similar and is definitely more friendly for like for a Counter Strike player for sure.
Yeah, because I mean a lot of the some of the Halo Pro players that I'm friends with, they could play Call of Duty on a professional level with a controller, and the majority of everybody that plays Halo, they're on they're on controller. All the pros. I think there's only
Yeah.
like one uses mouse and keyboard, and they look at him weird. It's like so strange. Like, wait, he's playing a mouse and keyboard, and they look at it and we're like, dude, are you seriously going to use a mouse and keyboard? So it's the movement, the mechanics, how it is, all the stuff you got to press at the same time, and all that. So it's like very interesting how certain games their mechanics are like very different, the movements and stuff. I used to be a Battlefield guy, and on Battlefield 4, I was top 30 on certain things, topping Claymore kills. I was really good at it. I wanted to go pro, but it was too much drama. So hard to get there. And then Rainbow Six came out, and everybody that I knew, they just like left Battlefield. And I used to feel the difference, the mechanics on that versus switching over to Rainbow. It was so hard for me
Yeah.
to understand the movements and everything. And it's like everything's different. I can't jump on, in Rainbow. You cannot hop on things and jump.
Yeah.
This is what I used to do on Battlefield and Call of Duty as well. Call of Duty was a game that was a really big game changer. Question, when you first started, you started playing on console or PC?
Like I played on console way long ago, but I wasn't playing any like kind of real games, I would say. I was playing more like sports games and stuff like that. But I got a gaming laptop, and yeah, immediately like my first game was like Team Fortress 2, and then a little bit after that I started playing Counter-Strike. And I stuck to Counter-Strike kind of forever. That's like always been the game for me.
Oh, okay. So when you first ever started gaming, you started off obviously with a console then.
Yeah.
What console was that?
Like the PlayStation 2 or 3, I think.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So you went from PlayStation, and then you went on straight to PC.
Yeah.
And once you got okay. What was your favorite PlayStation game? What was the one you were just like, man, I know Counter-Strike, other than Counter-Strike, but I don't.
I'm a huge baseball guy. I played baseball like my whole life, and so it was MLB The Show 2010. That was my absolute favorite game on PlayStation. I played a lot of that game, especially when I was younger. That was my game. That was my game for like a couple of years.
Okay, you don't play the newer versions now.
Not so much. I've been looking. I was looking at getting a console like the other week, just to play MLB The Show again because I thought about it. But maybe sometime in the future though, we'll see.
Now you could get an Xbox Series S. Not that expensive. You just get the Game Pass, I think it is, and that's what I do with my kids. I just get them the S series and get the Game Pass, and they can play all the games, and they can even download the show and stuff like that.
Might have to look into that then.
That's honestly the best baseball game I have ever seen till today. The
Yeah.
movements, it looks real. It feels.
Yeah.
I mean, they just did an amazing job. Sony, I got to tip my hat off to them. They did a really good job.
No, yeah, even in like whatever it was, like in the 2010s when I was younger, like the game still felt so real to me when I was that age, and even when it was that old, and like I don't know, gaming hadn't, or like graphics and video games hadn't really been like advanced like that. Like they were always kind of ahead of their time, I guess.
You knew what happened, that EA tried to, EA Sports, they tried to buy out all, to have, the rights to every sports game out there, so no other any other company can make a sports game.
Really,
Yeah.
that is wild.
Yeah, it happened with I'm gonna tell you right now, but I'm gonna look it up. ESPN 2K, I think was it 2K5? Let me see. Football. I think it was one of the football games. Okay, it was called ESPN 2K5. And when that game came out, that was actually the best NFL game ever to put out.
Yeah.
So Madden, EA got so upset. They got so mad because they used to sell their game for $49.99. And then 2K, ESPN 2K came out and said, "Hey, we want you guys to try out this game, and then we're going to put it half price." It was going to be like 25 something, 25.99, something like that.
Yeah.
And people were like, "Wow, this game is awesome. 2K5 is phenomenal." And it was just like selling like crazy. And it had actually first person. You're in
Really.
helmet. Yeah, they did a phenomenal job. The year after, I think it was, yeah, the year after EA goes to the NFL commissioner, Roger Goodell, and buys the license of NFL. So nobody else can make a NFL game.
That is insane.
It's dirty. It's dirty. They
Yeah.
talk about competition, but they don't like to compete. It's like
Yeah.
I say, they like to go. Okay, we're gonna go to the Super Bowl against who? Nobody. So we're gonna throw as much touchdowns we want and call ourselves the champions. We're the best NFL game.
Yeah.
Figures are out there, really, but you're not letting nobody compete against you. So it just like goes against the nature of sports. So they went ahead, they did that with the college, they tried to do it with basketball, and basketball, I think the NBA said no, we're not going to allow that. So guess what happened? 2K has been the best basketball uh in
Yeah.
gaming. And then in baseball, this is what's really funny. In baseball, they tried to buy the rights, and then 2K went ahead and fought it because MLB seems they said, okay, whoever the highest bid, whoever gets it, gets the rights. Come to know it that 2K won.
Really.
They won. And you know what's real funny? They said, guess what, folks? We have the rights now to Major League Baseball. And another thing, anyone can make a baseball game other than EA.
That is good. That's how you do it right there.
Really good. And it just hit them right where it hurts. And they're like, anybody else could make a baseball game. We'll give you the rights to it. You can make a baseball game, except EA Sports. Sony's like, can we make it? Sure, not a problem. Go ahead. They knew Sony had the best, but they deserve the competition. They deserve to be there, to make their games. And obviously, 2K MLB versus the show, there's no I mean, the show blows it out of the water.
Right.
And that's kind of like how it went down. That's crazy.
No, that is crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they just didn't. Right now, this is why you don't see any other NFL games.
Yeah.
You won't see it. And they try to do. I think they did it with I think they tried to do it with golf. I think golf was a certain amount of time. I think they had a certain amount of years, if I'm not mistaken. They had a certain amount of time, and there's new players, but all these new players are not under EA contract, so I don't know what happened with the golf or golfing. So you say you used to be in sports and you used to do play baseball. Are you doing anything now, or?
Nowadays, not so much. I'm retired. I'm a retired baseball player. That's staying in the past. But I mean, I was playing in like an adult like rec league. But I just like didn't have time for it. Like with Counter Strike, like I would just have practice or like matches, and all the games for the rec league would be like later at night, so it just like didn't work out. So yeah, so I'm the glove is hung up for now. I'm a ex retired athlete.
And so young. How old are you right now? What, 20? What?
21.
Oh, you're 21. Okay. You can still play baseball once in a while. Some with your buddies, or I mean, what position you used to play on baseball? What was your?
I was a pitcher. In high school I was only a pitcher. Didn't play
Oh,
anything else. Yeah.
get the heck out of here, man! That means you got good aim.
Yeah.
Jeez. Did they wanted you to keep on pursuing it to your
Yeah.
coaching?
Yeah. I had like the opportunity to play in college at like it would have been at like a really small school, like whichever one I would have chosen, it would have been some like really small school, like in kind of like the middle of nowhere, playing like Division 2 or 3 baseball. So like that's not really the route I wanted to take. And yeah, even when I was in high school, like I kind of knew that I wanted to pursue Counter Strike because I was getting at a level where um like I was like starting to really compete and like play against like some of the best players, and like I was kind of moving up, getting in that challenger league I was talking about. And so yeah, my mind was already that I was gonna pursue Counter Strike and see where that takes me.
Has it ever came across to your mind like, okay, what would happen if I would have stayed in baseball? Has it ever come across your mind like, what would
I
happen if I would have
I
stuck?
think about it sometimes. I've thought about it sometimes because I'm not gonna toot my own horn, but I was pretty good. Like I was one of the better players from our high school, and like I said, could have pursued college baseball at a really small school, and if I worked extremely hard, I could have maybe made something out of it. But I don't know. I had like the main thing was like I just had like some shoulder problems that were underlying and kind of been an issue, and so couldn't really do it just
I had,
for multiple reasons.
no, that's fully understandable. I had a buddy of mine in Puerto Rico. That's where I'm from, and he was a pitcher as well. Same thing, high school, phenomenal. He went to this program so he could get into college and all this, and he injured his arm.
Yeah,
Goodbye.
that'll do it to you.
It was done. I said, "Hey, how's it going?" I met up with him. How's the baseball thing going? He said, "I injured my arm. It's done." Like,
It's
what?
over.
Over. That's it.
Yeah.
Choose another career. I'm like, are you kidding me? You can't be an outfielder or something? He goes, I want, do something. Yeah. So he says, I just know pitching. I'm not a hitter. I just
Yeah.
know how to pitch. I just don't know how to hit. I could catch, but that's basically it. And it was such a bummer because he got like really depressed. He got really down.
Yeah.
It hurt him really, really. And it's like, oh man, these young guys are trying to make it, and just an injury. That's why I tell a lot of folks that are into sports, and that just take care of yourself now as much as you can, because if you get into college and you get into a program, you get scholarships or whatever to play for a team, you got to be very healthy. Don't
Yeah.
injure it in high school. Don't play safe. But if you knew, I think you had that gut feeling like, wait 1 second, I know my arm, I know my potential. Something is not clicking here. Let me just stay the route of esports and just build my career here. And I think he played it very smart.
Thank you.
He played it very smart. That's what I would have done. If
No.
I knew like something is up, something's not right. This is the way to go. It's
Yeah.
the way to go.
No, yeah. I had like my problems with my shoulder arose when I think I was a junior, and that was kind of when COVID hit. But yeah, for months I was doing physical therapy because I screwed up like my shoulder pretty bad, and that was just tough. And if I would have like re-injured it or done something worse, like it would have been pretty miserable to go through that whole process again of trying to like rebuilding and just like yeah, it's tough. Like it's really tough, and there's like way worse. Like obviously like the shoulder is not a good area to kind of mess up, but like,
Yeah.
you see some of these guys with like getting Tommy John surgery and tearing ACLs and MCLs and stuff like that. Like that's brutal. Like that is really brutal. Some
It
of the
is.
injuries from sports.
And what's crazy about it that a lot of these players, they act like, no, I'm okay, because deep inside they know if they explain how painful or how bad shape they are, they're gonna get benched and
Yeah.
probably then let go. So they're thinking about the money. They're thinking about, staying with the team and not getting kicked. So they're just like, no, no, I'm okay. It just feels a slight pain. The doctor's like, listen, dude, you tore something really bad. You're gonna be a year off. Really? I don't feel nothing. I feel perfectly fine. Yeah. You're gonna have to be out for a while. And yeah, it's sad when these players that they do that. They got to go through that stuff. It's tough.
No.
It's like right now in esports, a lot get what's the name of it? You get that in the arm, your wrist. It's an issue about you using your mouse so much, and then your wrist. I forgot the name of it. My brain is not here today, but it has to do with the muscle, the tendons of your wrist,
Yeah.
and and it just causes issues. Some will just keep it quiet and let that pain flow until they finish a tournament, or they try to carpal tunnel.
Oh yeah. There we go.
There we go. That's the name of it. So a lot of them go through it and they just keep quiet. They don't tell their managers. They don't tell nobody. They just suffer the pain through.
Right.
And as soon as they have that moment, they finish a tournament. They won't say, "Hey, I'm not I'm not performing to my 100% because I have this condition." They'll just suffer it through, and then after whatever tournament they in, they just once they're off, they try to get that fix immediately, and they'll just keep it on the down low.
Yeah, because you don't want to get replaced mid tournament or get replaced in general just for something like that. Like, because that's something like, there's nothing you can do about that. Like, doctor's gonna, or whoever is looking at it is probably gonna tell you to lay off the mouse and keyboard for like a
Oh,
few weeks or a couple of months or whatever it is. But yeah, I mean, that's so scary. And it's like, even now, like, I'm kind of eyeing up physical therapy just to kind of like keep my hands and my fingers, like, just everything in shape and in check so I don't like ever run into any of those problems because that stuff's really scary. Like, especially with your wrist, like that must suck. Like moving your wrist and it just like hurts. Like I would just not be able, like that would just be horrible. I don't know how I would play like that.
I have a buddy. He's a pro player. I'm not going to mention names or what org. Uh, I he contacted me. We talked a little bit, and he told me he was going through that, and I told him, listen, go to your doctor. He's when you got to get it. Oh, he's saying, man, you have to operate. I haven't followed up. I don't know what happened, and actually, two of them. Well, one had a different injury by lifting weights, and one of them had the carpal tunnel by mouse and keyboard too much. And we kept it quiet. I told him, listen, just do whatever the doctor says. And he tells me, yes, I got a tournament coming up. And I was like, oh gosh.
No.
I said, don't use it. Don't play. Forget it. Keep it resting. Say you got to go somewhere with a family and you're not going to be around. Have your backup take your spot for some time while you guys scrim. You gotta do something. I know you don't want to miss out on this tournament, but you can't use it because you're going to injure yourself more.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's like, I think, the biggest fear of a lot of these pro players getting carpal tunnel. So it's kind of suck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, does your team have does Wildcard have a backup player? A majority of these players have a backup in case one of you guys gets sick or something happens during a tournament.
We don't have like a dedicated backup player. Like we would either if we were able to, we'd obviously contact someone that we're like familiar with. Just someone from like a past team that's not on a team right now, or just like a friend, or if not like someone like that, then probably one of our coaches would be the next in line. Um, Thankfully, we never like ran into anything like that. Or no, we had I forget what happened, but one of our players couldn't make it to had something like couldn't make it to practice, couldn't scrim, and one of our coaches hopped in, and we have two coaches. One's like 10 years older than the other one, and then the guy who's younger, he lives in Portugal, so like his
Mm.
connection to the NA or like North American servers is awful. So like it'd be really tough for him to play. So like we we got our 35-year-old coach strapping up and suiting up and getting in the server. It's awesome. Like
That'd be funny.
he didn't do that great, but it's awesome having him in the server. Like
Hey,
you-
coach, what's wrong, buddy? You're the coach, and you're.
yeah, but he would just like he knew his role, and he would just like he would go in first and he'd make the space. Like he would, and occasionally he hit a couple headshots, but mainly like he would just book it in and just go first and have us kill whoever killed him, you know.
He did a kamikaze move. He just rushing there to die, but he's
Yeah.
gonna make sure he's gonna take somebody out.
Yeah.
So what did he? What was he doing? Do a IGLing the whole entire time?
No, he wasn't IGLing, but yeah, his role during those scrimmages that day was just to run in first and to create havoc.
Yeah, go there while we'll go the other way around and start killing people from the back or something.
Yeah, and he had the tilt factor of if you die to him, like you're gonna be mad because it's our 35-year-old coach. Like you're gonna be a little thrown off if you die to him.
I mean, hey, there's a lot of players out there that they're old and they still perform really, really good. I
Oh yeah,
mean, look at the two-time with Disrespect, Dr. Disrespect. He's 41 and he's like, I don't know how his time reaction is so good still.
yeah,
And he plays phenomenal. He doesn't do Counter-Strike. It's kind of like funny. He should.
yeah. No, there's other games where like Quake, for instance, like where some of the pros in that game are like, or most of the pros in that game, I think, are older players who are just like more experienced and just know the game. And some games are like more friendly to older people, I would say. Like it's not one of those games where just like some little 15-year-old's gonna hop on the game and just start owning you because he's 15 and has insane reaction time and he's like juiced up off like 2 Red Bulls or what have you. But like yeah, Quake is one I'm familiar with where there's some old timers in that game and they're still like kind of like some of the best. But I don't know too much about Quake. I've just heard stuff about it.
Yeah, there's Quake. There was an Unreal tournament. Actually, I had on the show here Fatality. I don't know if you ever heard of him.
What
Fatality.
game is he from?
He's actually he's a 12-time champion,
Oh wow.
5 games.
Wow.
he's he's inducted in the Hall of Fame of esports. I mean, he is brutal.
Wow.
You got to listen to his story whenever you get a chance. Listen
Yeah,
to
I'm
it.
gonna have to.
Yeah, I that was probably like the main guy I really wanted on the show from that era because he kind of built up the foundation of what's esports all about now.
Right.
And it's like you look at UFC, the fighters, the beginner, the ones that build the octagon, it's like Royce Gracie and Kim Shamrock. You got these people, but Royce had to fight 3 guys in one night with no weight class, no gloves, no time limit. See what I mean? They're the one that brought up Fatality had to travel around the world, go to Japan, go to UK, go to all these places, fight the best of the best of those games and compete and beat them. So it's crazy how esports evolved and how this came about. It's kind
Yeah,
of crazy. Quake is one of them. I think he was like number one as well. It was in 5 games, number one. He
that's
just
crazy.
yeah, it's really crazy. His story is like really wild. Yeah, so other than Counter Strike, now you got this plan in the future. What's more to it? You have anything else planned out, or just keep on growing, and are you trying to learn other roles in the game, or what's your role? What do you do right now in Counter? What's your role in Counter Strike?
Right now, my role has been the sniper, the opper of the team. So I'm the dedicated sniper, using the one shot, one bullet, one kill gun is that's my specialty.
Jeez.
So
Yeah, so you
yeah,
got good aiming in baseball as a pitcher, and also you got his sniping. Damn, bro. I'll be like, okay, wait 1 second. This guy's aim is way too freaking good. He pitches like he's a pitcher, plus he's a sniper. Get the heck out of here! Why? You love the aim. You love that.
yeah, I'm precise, very precise. But yeah, my I don't ever really see myself playing another role other than being the sniper. To be honest, I've been doing it for like at least four years now or something like that. Um, but yeah, my plans for the future is just to keep playing, keep grinding. Like we're with this roster on Wildcard, we're really moving up. Like this is like probably the best team I've ever been on in my career thus far, and we're like we have a chance to really do some damage and like compete internationally and at some of these tournaments that are coming up. And we've had a lot of promising results like as of late, so just keep at that for the short term. We're just gonna keep going, um and definitely gonna try to start streaming more and building a little bit of a fan base or what have you that way. Now that I got the upgraded computer, um so yeah, hopefully you'll catch me streaming a little bit sometimes. But
Can't
yeah,
wait. Can't wait. Now, what graphics card you got on your PC?
I got a 3070.
Okay, that's perfectly good. I
Yeah.
got a 3070 Ti,
No,
and
I
they're
have a 3070 Ti as well. It's a Ti. I forgot that
okay.
part. It's pretty
Okay,
important.
yes, you want the Ti.
Yeah.
The A lot of people, oh, should I get a Ti? Yeah, always go if you're gonna go for the basic one, just spend the extra buck, get a Ti, which is basically you got a little turbo in there.
Right.
It boosts it up. It gets it closest to the 3080. Um, a lot of friends of mine went crazy going for the 4000 series. Oh, get the 4070, 4080, 4090. I said, you're just wasting your money.
Yeah.
I said, what do you play? Rainbow Six. I said, I highly doubt it. Rainbow Six gonna need, or Counter Strike or Overwatch is gonna need a 4090 to
Yeah.
run the game. It's impossible. I said a 3070 Ti would just, or 3070 would just run perfectly fine.
Yeah. No, the
Perfectly fine.
prices the prices of those things right now are wild. I was looking at it because I was looking at the prices when I was looking to upgrade my computer, and I was like, no, I'm not
No,
dropping 2,500 on a graphics card. Like, I'll
it's,
wait. I'll wait like 6 months, half a year, and wait till the price goes down before I buy one of those.
it's exactly. But the other thing is, does Counter Strike really need it? Does it need a
I
four?
would I would make the argument that you could. I mean, we were recently in Dallas, staying at the Complexity facilities to play or to prepare and play for the major qualifier that we had a couple of weeks ago. And yeah, there they had, I think it was 4090s in the computers, and it felt like incredible. Like the game felt insanely smoother. It was insane. That's why I upgraded my computer, is that like my computer was so much worse than the one I was playing at in Dallas, and so I kind of had to upgrade it because when I came home it felt horrible. Like it just felt like I was playing a completely different game than the one I was playing in Dallas, because it was just clunkier and just did not feel as smooth at all. So
Now, question: it's not because of the monitor,
I mean,
the hertz.
a little bit, but it's not that big of a difference. Because yeah, in Dallas we were playing on 360 hertz monitors, and at home I only have a 240 hertz,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's definitely a difference, but it's not as much of a difference as going from 144 to 240. Like that is like to me the biggest jump in terms of like monitor. Um, but yeah, 240 is plenty good, like
yeah, really good.
for playing and competing. And like, I think you see like some. I don't know if there's been any tournaments yet with 360 hertz. Like I could be wrong, but I think all the pro tournaments are still sticking to 240. It's just like some players like at home spent the bag on a 360 hertz monitor and just like have the computer for it. But yeah, like I said, I think 240 hertz was plenty fine for competing in any esport.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's 240 is good. 240 and above. Now, my thing is with for an example, I do a comparison with Rainbow. Rainbow, what's really funny that a lot of these pros get, a lot of them have the 3070 Ti, they have 3080s, but most of them that they upgrade their graphics card in the end game, in the game, they just put the settings, the graphic setting to the lowest. Like you just don't imagine how low. And
No.
it's supposedly like better frame rates, gives you even more. I said, but listen, if you have a 4090, you can max out the graphics and you should not feel the difference. The game is that old, but they
Yeah.
still put it down to low. Now, you guys you put yours to the graphic settings to low, or you max it out?
You definitely don't max it out on Counter Strike. Like
Okay.
there's a couple that I have that are not like the lowest. Like there's probably 3 or 4 settings out of like 13 or 14.
Mhm.
But yeah, everything's on low except for like the shaders or like the shadows, so you can see the shadows at a higher quality, and like that's a pretty big thing that you have to have on like high in Counter Strike. But like yeah, other than that, everything's low.
Okay, that's true. Now you make because you got to. That's a lot of things you got to see in the game as a shadow. See if the person's behind a wall.
Yeah,
Because I noticed that in Counter Strike, I could be behind a wall, but I could pan the camera in an angle that I could see more forward.
right.
I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, right? So
No, I
it's
know
like,
what you're talking about.
yeah, so you could see that person and see if that person's behind that wall. So you got to go by shadow. Man, that's crazy.
Yeah, and even in Counter Strike 2, the shadows are like, for some reason, the shadows are like insanely bigger and like illuminate off stuff, and you can like your position can be given away by your shadow a lot easier, and there's like a definitely like a bigger advantage for like if you see someone's shadow before they're about to peek you, you have an immediate advantage because you're gonna start shooting like quicker because you know that they're coming from like that certain position. So
Hmm.
yeah, that was another big change from Counter Strike to Counter Strike 2.
Oh, really? What? Were the shadows bigger now and than
Yeah,
before?
way bigger than Counter Strike.
Do you like it or you don't like that part of it?
Um, I don't really like it, to be honest. I mean, there's like a lot of times it's just like a stupid advantage, or like that you won't even see like someone's shadow, but like you'll just see like I don't know. It's stranger, and it just doesn't really make as much sense. Like there's a couple maps where there's spots where there'll be like a light, and like the light just like flashes your shadow like on a wall, and it's like huge, and it's just dumb.
Like, wait one second.
Like that just shouldn't be a thing.
What?
Yeah. Like you're literally like someone can literally just see your whole shadow like walking to like before you're about to peak, and so like you're just dead.
That kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Like, okay, there's a little lamp here, and it's freaking beaming like
Yeah.
if it's fog light from a Ford pickup truck, and
Exactly.
Have my body size. I'm a dead giveaway.
Yeah.
Like, what the heck? What's the purpose of this? Don't make it so freaking huge.
Yeah, no, there's one map in particular. I don't know if you're familiar with it. It's Ancient on Counter-Strike 2, and it's like
Mhm.
in a main on that map, like it's like a thing where you have to avoid like the shadow. Like you have to move in a certain way to where your shadow doesn't get flashed like on the wall. And if you're a counter terrorist holding that, like you're gonna see it, and so you have to like completely like maneuver around it. It's strange and it's annoying. So yeah,
Now,
not a fan.
you can't destroy the lights.
No, you can't destroy the lights.
See, I haven't played that game. I hardly know that much about the game. I'm getting into it now. Trust me, I'm looking into it and seeing it. That kind of sucks that you can't destroy the lights.
Yeah, that would be cool if you could destroy the lights. But yeah.
Have Flappy tweet that out. Like, yeah, you told me. Hey, please make lights destructible. Hello, they're made out of glass.
It's a pretty good idea, I can't lie.
Hey, you never know. That's going to make it more competitive. It's going to make it more interesting. You can't follow the shadows.
Yeah,
There's pros and cons to it. I mean, but
that would be nice. I'd be a fan of that, to be honest.
yeah, I mean, I think if they more pro players tweet this stuff out, you never know. Probably will help out on the long run.
No.
Get you guys getting what you really want. So yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. Hopefully they do that. Hopefully they do something like that.
Yeah.
Now, what mouse you use? What type of mouse? You got a specific mouse you use?
I'm on the G Pro wireless super light. The newest one. I think it's a super light 2 is what they call it. So yeah,
Okay.
that is my mouse of choice. I've been on the super light for I think a couple years now, 2 or 3. Um and yeah, it's like pretty small, which is like it can be difficult for me because my hands are just like huge, but
Hmm.
it's just like a really nice mouse and has a nice feel to it, and it's very light, and I like a light mouse in
Yeah.
terms of weight.
And keyboard, what do you use? A Wooding or a Ducky or what did you use?
No, I'm on the HyperX Alloy. The wait, I can't even show it. My fucking cord is stuck.
No, you're good.
It's this one. This
Oh,
one right
okay.
here. There we go.
That's sick. So you're sponsored by HyperX? I see you using their headset as well.
Unfortunately not. I would love a HyperX sponsor, but no, they do have really good gear though. I'm a big fan of HyperX and always
Well,
have been.
once you get streaming, you never know.
Yeah.
You never know. That's all you gotta do is start streaming and hopefully they reach out. You reach out to them and tell them who you are, and hopefully they'll like, hey, yeah, you know, wanna we'll work with you, and then you get a special code.
No.
HyperX is one of the top brands that a lot of pro players use. Even in Rainbow, they use HyperX a lot,
Yeah. No, it's definitely one of the biggest ones for sure.
especially the headset. Now you got the what Cloud 3s?
Cloud threes. Yeah.
Yeah, I could tell those are wireless because the twos
hmm
are wired. How long the battery's lasting on those?
The Cloud threes are really nice with the battery. Like the battery will last me like just hours. Like I don't know the exact number, but like I just know I rarely have to charge it, and my headset like hardly ever dies. It's just always charged. It,
Okay, so it's like when you're done playing, you charge it for the next day, and you're good to go.
yeah, it's like even every other day I'll charge it, or every like 2 days, and I'll be fine.
Dang.
So yeah, it's got a nice battery on it for sure.
Now, when you go to a tournament, you I assume you bring your charger. You're good to go for these tournaments.
Yeah, and normally like if you go to like a in-person tournament or like a LAN in
Hmm.
particular where you're playing like with other people around you or in front of a crowd or whatever, like you normally do go for the in-ears Like,
Oh, yeah, you got to use in-airs,
yeah,
and then put those over it.
yeah,
And I think the over ears are the ones that the event uses or something. Probably another
yeah, yeah.
company.
Normally at those tournaments, they put like you get like a bigger headset that plays white noise, so you can't hear whatever blocks out background noise. So
Yeah,
yeah, the crowd or the casters or the other team or whatever. So yeah,
yeah. That's I saw uh a major of Counter Strike, the fan base. Oh my freaking goodness! The stadium was like packed.
yeah. No,
Bro.
it's crazy how big those events can get. Like for me, like one of my favorites was the one in Brazil, just because like it was wild. Like the crowd was crazy. It was huge. Like the Brazilians are very, very passionate about Counter Strike, and I thought that was really, really cool to see. Like how crazy that crowd was there.
Man, but your heart is pounding. You're like, oh God, this is big.
Oh
It's
yeah.
into a Super Bowl. What the heck? A World Series.
Yeah.
The crowd cheering, getting nervous, pumped up, you get all excited. Your adrenaline is kicking in. It's like,
Mhm.
man, that's gotta be exciting. So hopefully this year you guys gonna make it up, win a major. I'm rooting for you.
Appreciate it.
Snipe your way through, man. Just go for it and get that streaming on. And can't wait to see you stream. I know all the fans is gonna be excited. They can't wait. Get your own fans to support you. Also, you're gonna be making some money off of Twitch. And the sky's the limit, man. You just
Yeah.
gotta go for it. Just go for
Oh
it.
yeah.
Usually, a lot of your pro friends that they stream, they see you streaming and they see you on. They'll tend to raid you. They'll bring their fans,
Oh
followers
yeah.
into the channel and raid you, and that's gonna be you're gonna get excited. It's gonna pump you up, and you're gonna be wanting to stream more, and that's how you're gonna practice. Obviously, you're gonna have to probably play a couple. You're gonna have to play some matches. Matchmaking, because when you scrim, a lot of these orgs don't want you to stream it because
Yeah. No, you can't stream those to the
can't be,
public at all.
yeah, because other teams are going to be watching your tactics and they're going to be like, oh, so they do this, and they'll just like jot everything down, and it's like
Exactly.
dead giveaway. So I can't wait, man, can't wait.
I appreciate it.
So Slight, it's that time, brother. Gotta get on going here. I know we passed the hour. Conversations is good,
Yeah.
but yeah, man, it won't be the first or the last time you be on the show, and it went really good. So I always give out a couple minutes, give you the stage so you could tell your fans, tell everybody about where to find you, what social medias, what platforms. Go ahead, stage is yours.
Well, thank you everyone for watching this. Shout out to Wildcard and Ben and Griff and everyone involved around the organization. It's a bunch of really cool, really awesome people. Very kind, very easy to talk to. I appreciate everyone that is supporting me and supporting our Wildcard team, our Counter Strike team. We're looking to do big things in 2024. Um, Hopefully, y'all will see us at the major. We'll definitely see us in Mexico. We would love and appreciate any support, like all the support. And yeah, like I said, I'm gonna start turning that stream on. So hopefully, get some people from Wildcard, some fans. The Twitch is at or Slight CS. So hope to see y'all. Hope to see y'all there. Follow me on Twitter at Slight CS:GO. And yeah, huge shout out to you for having me here, and it's been a pleasure. It's been a very fun podcast.
Thank you. Thank you. A pleasure. Next time when we do another, I'm gonna know more about Counter Strike because I am like completely like kindergarten when it comes to this. But that's the way it is. That's how you fall in love with games and you learn more about the games and you get into it and you work little by little and you know a lot of people don't know about Counter Strike. So I just say, hey, listen, look into it, watch, learn, and you'll see why you know Slight loves it so much. Why he prefers this first person shooter over Valorant. Why he preferred it over Rainbow. Why he preferred it. You know, look at the game. It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. Once you see him play, trust me, you're gonna understand why. And when I saw Wildcard kicking M80's ass, oh, trust me, it was. I love M80. I got friends in M80 and everything, but you know, so it's like it's fun to see the competition, and it's really high intense competition, and I love it. I love it. It's really good. I know that team makes you guys better. You make them better because you guys always at it. I always see you guys at it. So
Yeah.
it's the fun part, the fun of competitive gaming, and that's what we do. Just try to get better at it.
Yeah.
Okay, folks, you know what time it is. It's time to say goodbye. Well, guys, till next time, take care. Peace. God bless. Have a good one, guys.